This is the simple, compound, and continuous interest equation solver for mathscelebrity.com. To get there, you can type simple interest, you can type compound interest, or you can type continuous interest. So this is the calculator, and as the instructions tell you, you're going to enter 3 out of 4 items below. So you enter what you know, and what you don't know or want to solve for, you leave blank. And then whatever interest equation you're using, you press that button. So we're going to go through the various solutions here. We'll go ahead and start with simple interest. So we're going to solve for cumulative value. The calculator lists the formula out, plugs in your known values, simplifies, and get your answer. So now let's go ahead and solve for principal. So we should get 1,000 because we're going to use the same equation for all 4 pieces. So the calculator rearranges the simple interest equation and solves for principal, plugs in your values, simplifies, and indeed we do get 1,000. Let's go ahead and solve for interest. So rearranges the equation to solve for interest. Again, plugs in your values and simplifies. And we get 5.5%. Finally, we'll solve for time. So we isolate time, plug our values in, simplify, and we get 4. So as you can see, for simple interest, it'll solve for any of the 4 items. So let's go ahead and do the same thing we just did, but compound interest. So I'll press the compound interest button. First we'll solve for cumulative value. So here's our compound interest equation. We don't have to rearrange anything, we just plug in our values, simplify, and get our number. Let's go ahead and solve for principal. So again, here's our original equation. The calculator is going to go ahead and solve for principal by canceling out certain items and rearranging. We get the principal equation here, plug in our values, and we get 1,000. So let's go ahead and do that for interest. We rearrange and simplify. This time we got to take the natural log of both sides. There's a bit more math on this one because we want to solve for t, which is right here. So we cancel out items, and we're left with, actually we want to solve for interest rates. So we're left with natural log of 1 plus I is this, since we plugged in our values. We raise each side, we raise e to each side to get rid of the natural log. And we're left with 5.5%, which is what we were hoping for. So now let's go ahead and solve for time using compound interest. Again, set up our relational equation. This time we're going to solve for t, so there's a little bit less math than when we solve for I. So here's what t is. Plug in our values, simplify, and we get 4. So we've shown you so far simple and compound interest solving for a cumulative value, principal, interest, and time. So let's go ahead and do that for continuous interest. So go ahead and press the button. So this is the continuous interest formula. And again, we're solving for a cumulative value, so we just plug our values straight in, no rearrangement needed. And we get 1246.08. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Let's solve for principal. So here's our relational equation. This time we're going to solve for p, so we divide by e raised to the rt. Simplify, and here's what principal is represented by. Plug in our values, simplify, and we get 1,000. So far so good. This time we'll solve for interest. Divide by p, and we got e to the rt. What we do want is r. So here's what r is represented by. plug in our values, and we get 5.5%. That's great. So finally, our last calculation, we want to be able to solve for time. So there's a relational equation. We're going to simplify similar to what we did with when we solved for r, but this time we want t. Actually, this should read r here. I'm going to fix this. But we did plug in the right values, and we get 4. So as you can see, we can solve for any of the 4 input items of the 3 methods of interest: simple, compound, and continuous. We also have a quiz generator on this lesson, and for more information on how to use that, visit the quizzes link under this folder. We've got a generate practice problem, which will generate random practice problems for you. Press this once. It generates a random practice problem. You can keep pressing it, and it does random problems for you. If you do have any questions or enhancement suggestions, please use the Contact Us link. Thanks for watching.